All right, welcome to the return of the rundown. My name is Rob Sanders. As always, appreciate everyone that watches and enjoys the programs that Carolina Jackpot and I put on together. I know that some of you remember the rundown from my days when I worked for iHeartRadio. I still work for iHeartRadio, but I have a corporate job now that I get to sit at home and do things, which is cool. But I had I had a radio show called The Rundown, and the rundown was basically myself doing things like I'm going to do today. It is the start of ACC kickoff. I am heading to Charlotte this week, um, so I think I'll be there on Thursday. That'll be my big day. But I thought we'd do some rundown action this week, and today is the new version of the rundown where I'm doing the majority of them at my house. I may have some of them out and about, depending on some things, working on stuff behind the scenes. And the idea is to I enjoy being in front of a microphone. And when iHeart made their cuts a while back, it affected a lot of folks around the country, and it took my radio show from me. I still managed to do stuff on my buddy Kale's YouTube channel here, and there's been talk about people want me to come back and do this. So I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not? Um, the big topic today is I have put together. We have the bookcase of accountability, right? And the bookcase of accountability is something that I came up with on the rundown a while back, and we use it to mock. But I'm adding my one of my first big pieces to the bookcase of accountability for this upcoming season. I think the first thing that I said was that South Carolina would lose all of their games in October this year, and I still stand behind that. Simply based on the fact that they only play 3 games. That's thing number one, and the other is that they have um, they have a tough stretch of games. But today is a little bit different. Today, I'm going to give you the teams that will make the college football playoff. In addition to that, the someone from this list is going to win the national title. So on this program today, I'm going to tell you who's going to win the quote unquote national title. All right, pretty simple, right? So the way it works is that I went through and the way that you guys understand how all of that sets up, right? The college football playoff, they're going to have 12 teams. In reality, though, it's probably going to be 10 teams. All right. That's just the way that it is, because you're going to have one that's a group of 5 team that is, you know, I don't necessarily agree with the group of 5 stuff, but they're in the mix. We have to deal with it, and we'll go from there with that. The others, they're an exception for Notre Dame because Notre Dame refuses to join a conference. I think that Notre Dame is going to be one of the teams that theoretically has a realistic shot to get there. That, and I think there's a sympathy thing for Notre Dame. If they win 10 games, the Pope is going to come out. They have to be in the college football playoff. So with that, you're looking at 10 teams. Now, 4 of them are going to come from your major conference championships. You got the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and why is my brain not working today? And the SEC. There you go. All right, so the group of 5, they get that one bid. Let's start with them. Here are the teams from the group of 5 that I think have the most realistic shot of possibly getting into the playoff. All right, pay attention, kids. The group of 5 gets one bid. Liberty has essentially the same team they had last season. The only knock on them is that their schedule is weak. They do have a game at App State, who is another team that could theoretically be in the mix there, but they do have 3 of their last 4 on the road. Jamie Chadwell is a hell of a coach. He should have been at South Carolina. I know people love Shane Beamer, but do you want to win? You need a guy like Jamie Chadwell. He's just won everywhere he's went. Liberty up there doing their thing. All right, now Memphis is another team that is interesting. they return a lion's share of the stuff that they had last season. They have 2 tough games at FSU and on the road to Tulane. They're going to have to pull the upset in both. All right. What's going to be frustrating is that if you have a group of 5 team that has a loss, and you have, I know the SEC folks are going to be like, well, a 3-loss, a 4-loss SEC team is better than any team from the group of 5 ever. I don't want to have that debate today. I'm just saying it's going to look odd if you have a 1-game schedule there, or you lose 1 game on that schedule as a group of 5 team, and you're going to be in the college football playoff, and you're going to get hammered. It's not going to work. Shout out to the chat room. Daniel's here, Baylor Man, Big Barney Ross, Motley Dog, Alan V. The Troll Patrol is back. Who, by the way, posted pictures of his daughter on Facebook. Man, that ain't your kid. That's the Stork's kid. Ain't no way that beautiful child came from you. Bird to Fly. Carrie says that Jamie Chadwell's a Tennessee man. Okay. Andy says Tennessee's a garbage ass program. Tanner says I just won back-to-back natties with Chadwell and Liberty. Very good. And Peg and Megan says hello to the ladies in the chat. Very good, sir. All right, anyway. And Jay's here. All right, so in addition to that, you've got Boise State. They have 3 games that could bring them some spotlight. They play Oregon, Oregon State, and Washington State. They have former Southern Cal quarterback Malachi Nelson is replacing Taylon Green, who is heading to Arkansas. Beth is here. So is David. There you go. So those teams there. You also have Tulane. They're led by 1,300-yard rusher Mekhi Hughes. They will have a shot. They'll play Kansas State and Oklahoma, and they also have a tough matchup with Memphis. The Memphis-Tulane game is a knockout game. I mean, it is. If ESPN is listening, whatever matchup is that weekend, if you want to appeal to a ton of folks there, just call that. If they've played that game and everybody's at where they need to be, that's where game day needs to be that week. Is that matchup between Tulane and Memphis, because it's a knockout game. It really is. So there's your setup there from the group of 5. Tanner says Liberty is the best team to beat in the non-Power 5. Very good, sir. They're on the list. Let's go to the ACC. Clemson has a top-level defense. The question is for the Tigers is, can they score enough points? Klubnik is back at quarterback. Can he jumpstart that Tiger offense that was as flat as a plate full of piss last season? I mean, let's just be honest. They put up slightly better numbers than they did with Brandon Streeter. They fired Streeter, got Riley in to call those plays, and they weren't any better. They weren't any better. Now, here's the thing. I think with the College Football Playoff Committee, it's going to come down to statements that you make throughout the season. Now, Clemson has an opportunity early to make a statement if they can hang on, pull off an upset against Georgia in week 1. I don't think they can hang with the Bulldogs, especially that early. And I still think that there is a lot of unproven talent in that wide receiver room that has to come of age quickly. And it's game 1, first game of the season. Yeah, I'm not with you on that. But the Tigers do have App State, which is a sneaky kind of trap game there before the NC State game. And they got a road trip to LSU, all coming before October the 6th. Now, why do I tell you that? Because remember, last season, Clemson started 4-4 and won out. They got their shit together and won out. All right, so yeah, there's that. Frothy says, is Clemson's O-line any good? Yeah, I mean, we shall see. You can negate a subpar line if your quarterback can check into situations correctly. And I do believe in Phil Maffa at running back. As long as he holds on to the ball, he's going to be good. Hello to Gamecock Chuck. Appreciate you as well. All right, so all of that before October the 6th, they could theoretically lose the Georgia game. Let's say they lose to NC State. That's going to knock them out of the college football committee, in my opinion. But they could get a spot in Charlotte, which could put them back in the mix if they can win at Florida State and move their way out. So, yeah, there's that. Now, Florida State is the next one here. They have the talent on paper to make it all the way back to Charlotte this season. They do have DJ Uiagalelei at quarterback, who's average at best. He needs a good season if he's going to draw any hope of an NFL career. Now, the Seminoles have a 2-game stretch at SMU, followed by Clemson, that could determine their season. They also play Notre Dame on the road. That game is late in the season. Now, here's the prickly one here. SMU, I think, could go 11-1. Their ACC slate is weak. They draw FSU at home. They avoid Miami. They avoid NC State, and they avoid Clemson. The non-con schedule has games with BYU and TCU. This is going to be the awakening of SMU football, in my opinion. I think they could go 10-2 or 11-1, make their way to Charlotte, and who knows what's going to happen next after that. If you can make it to your conference championship game, you've got a realistic shot of being in that CFP. So let's go with that from there. That's from the ACC. Now, the SEC was a little bit tougher. And the idea is I want to look back at this show on November, right after Thanksgiving, right after we all have our turkey and gravy and everything else, and we have all that stuff set up. I want to look back at this and be like, you know what? When it comes to what I put together, the 12 teams came from this list on here. Let's see if I'm really close. Gamecock Chuck says he totally agrees with SMU's schedule. They can play in Charlotte. Yeah, absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So Georgia is the best team in the country, in my opinion. The only thing seemingly being able to stop them may just be them. They returned Carson Beck, Oscar Delp. They went to the transfer portal, got Trevor Etienne, who, if he can stay sober and off the road, should be one of the best backs in the conference. They're going to have a nasty defense. That's a Kirby Smart staple. Non-con setup includes a matchup against Clemson. They play Georgia Tech at the end of the season. That Clemson defense will be the toughest defense they play all season. I'll stand behind that now. Anyone want to argue with me about that, feel free to tweet at me at Rob Sounds Good. All right? There you go. They do also have Ole Miss. Ole Miss, we'll get into what I think about them in just a little bit. Alabama still has great talent across the board. Milroe can do the job for them at quarterback. DeBoer can coach. Guy's always done more with less. The schedule has games at Tennessee, home with Mizzou, at LSU, at Oklahoma, and a matchup with Auburn in the Iron Bowl. This Alabama team screams 9, 10 wins at me, 10, 11, something like that, depending on if they have growing pains with the new coach, new system, and everything else. What was Nick Saban great at? I mean, you've heard the stories about Nick Saban. Everything was routine, and young people need routine. When you change routines, things can happen. So with that, I like the idea of Alabama may still be great, but they may, I don't know. I think you need to give DeBoer another shot there. They could finish 10-2. Big Bonnie Ross says, can Alabama get in with 2 losses? We shall see. We'll talk about that. All right, so Mizzou. Now, I know everyone's like, oh, Mizzou doesn't belong in the conference, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. They returned Luther Burden, who's an all-SEC first-teamer, and an underappreciated quarterback in Brady Cook. The Tigers bring in transfers from around the country. Toriano Pride was going to start for Clemson this year. He will now be patrolling the Mizzou secondary. The reason they're here is because they got a piss-poor schedule. Their road game at Alabama is the toughest. The non-con schedule is terrible. Murray State, Buffalo, and Boston College. And for some reason, they have a trip to UMass. What the fuck are we doing here? I don't get it. All right. They also play South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. Those 4 teams were projected at SEC Media Days to be the worst 4 teams in the conference. Mizzou's got a package schedule right now. 8 wins off just the rip. They're going to have 8 games where they should be favored by 7 to 10 points right off the bat. I'm serious. Don't sleep on them. I know Eli Drinkowitz is a dork, but in reality, a lot of the SEC brethren will be out there. And if Mizzou, they could make it to Atlanta, go with that 1 loss to Alabama, but the talk will be amongst everybody. They didn't play anybody. They didn't play anybody, Rob. But the SEC back scratchers will be talking about, oh, this is that team they're an SEC team. They get rubber stamp, put them in 11-1. Don't care. They didn't play anyone. They go. They got an SEC sticker. They get to go. Just calm down a little bit. Calm down. All right. But Mizzou, I want to make sure I put them on the list because I do think they have a realistic shot. You've also got Texas. They return Quinn Ewers, who is the biggest shyster in the world, went to Ohio State, got $100,000 to never fucking play, and then transferred. Wiped his ass with with Arch Manning. Sit on the bench, sir. Quinn Ewers he's doing it with a mullet. Bless this kid's heart. They do have great pieces on the offensive side of the ball. The tough thing for them is the schedule. They got a road trip to Michigan before conference play starts. I don't know if Michigan's going to be where they're going to be without Harbaugh. I don't know. But I still think Michigan has a good they're going to have a good defense. And we're going to find out what we need to know about Texas early. They got conference matchups with UGA, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M on the road. The Texas A&M game is the last sounding game, the last game at the end of the season there for them. Texas A&M would give their soul to have that win over the folks from Texas. Then you got Ole Miss into the mix. They become transfer U for the conference. Lane Kiffin is setting them up, bringing in players across the board to help keep his team in that 9-win window. Now, if they can go above and beyond there and get into that 10-win window, they could find themselves in Atlanta. They have tough 3 games that could swing the season. At LSU, home for Georgia, and home for Oklahoma. They get 2 of those 3. They will be in Atlanta. LSU returns Garrett Nussmeier quarterback. They're loaded with a ton of highly touted yet unproven players on both sides of the ball, but they've got a good head coach. He also knew that his defensive coordinator sucked last season, so he went and got Baker from Mizzou. Will Baker be able to bring that LSU defense up to par? And because they were piss poor last season. All right, then finally, you have Tennessee. I put Tennessee here because they have a gimmick offense. And I think that when it comes down to it, there's a chance when you look at their schedule, they don't have to go to Gainesville, which is normally a loss. They get Alabama at home in the first year under DeBoer. They go on the road to Georgia where they hope that they can avoid the rain. Not saying in fact, Georgia's going to beat the shit out of them, but the reality is that this team could be 10-2, but this is also one of those teams like I was talking about last night that could go off the end of the world and be a dumpster fire. They really, really could. They could be a dumpster fire and have players that are committed until week 4. And let's say they open up and they lose to NC State. Now I'm not saying they're going to, but I'm just saying, hey, we're 2-2. We're looking down the road at Alabama. We got to play at Oklahoma. Maybe, we could be an 8-win team. All of a sudden I've got turf toe and I don't want to play anymore. So there's that. Their secondary last season was piss poor. They got rid of everybody, or everybody transferred, or they were told to not come back, depending on what Tennessee folks you listen to. All right, so with that, I step back and tell you Tennessee is a team that could go 10-2, but they could go 6-6. They really could. Which means they'll probably finish 8-4, just like they did last year. So I think that's our rundown from the SEC there. The Big Ten comes down to the following. Oregon, Dan Lanning has built a physical East Coast team to play on the soft West Coast. Schedule's tough for the Ducks. Out of conference, they play a G5 darling in Boise State. They've got Oregon State for the Civil War, which is earlier in the season. All right, normally that game is the last game of the year. This is an early game in the season. Big Ten schedule takes them to Michigan and welcomes in Ohio State. Now, Penn State is at a point now where it's a put up or shut up year for James Franklin. Road games at Southern Cal may open at West Virginia. They also get a moment to shine at home against Ohio State. So, James Franklin, if you want your team to be looked at as more than an 8-9 win team every year, it's just solid. You know, we can go out with them. They're solid. Yeah. If you want to be looked at as something more than that, just beat Ohio State at home. You beat Ohio State at home. Don't let conference newcomers like Southern Cal beat you. Don't lose the opener to West Virginia. Yeah, do those things and get you a shot in the Big Ten championship game where you may match up with, you've already got Ohio State, but you may match up with a Michigan or whoever else. And then you've got an opportunity to get into the college football playoff, and maybe people will start taking you seriously. Now, Ohio State is loaded up and top to bottom with one of the best rosters in the country. 3 games that they'll be challenged in this season. The rest of them, they should be double-digit favorites across the board there. They've got they play at Oregon, at Penn State, and at home with Michigan. They win 2 of those 3. They'll get a shot at the Big Ten title and a berth in the college football playoff. So here's the crazy thing. Even if they win 2 out of those 3, if they go to the Big Ten championship game and they lose, depending on how things shake out, they could be left at home. Gamecock Chuck says, if you listen to the Penn State man, they're going 11-1. Brother, I'm saying with the roster that they have the opportunity that they could be in that upper echelon of the Big Ten. But right now, they're kind of Michigan and Ohio State's bitches. Don't be a bitch to these other teams that are coming in. Don't lose your first matchup with Southern Cal as a Big Ten team. Don't do that, because you're going to get relegated in a minute. Finally, Michigan has home matchups with Southern Cal and Oregon, as well as a road trip to Ohio State to end the season. Can they overcome the loss of their head coach and their quarterback from last season's national title team? Michigan, I put them on the list here. I don't know if they're going to get that high. All right. But Michigan has the opportunity to be a spoiler. Moore, their coach, if they roll into that game with Ohio State at the end of the season, and he's got his team there, and let's say they're, I don't know, 9-2, but the way the season is rolled out, they're not going to go to the Big Ten championship game. They're not going to go. I think he could motivate those kids to be like, you know what, to hell with Ohio State. They need to understand. Yeah, we had a couple of breaks here and there, but in the end, let's let them understand where they are. He could realistically get that team that motivated, and they could be the big spoiler in the Big Ten. So there you go with that. Let's go to the Big 12. Now, here's the thing. Nothing in the Big 12 excites me. I know people can tell me, Utah they won the last Pac-12 title and blah, blah, blah. All right. So there's going to be a team from this conference that's going to go to the college football playoff. I think whoever this team is going to get eliminated in their first round game unless they're playing the group of 5 team. Now, when they put these matchups together, they'll probably put them together with a group of 5 team just so one of them can advance, so they look like they're putting together a balanced playoff. But unless they're playing the group of 5 team, they're probably going to get knocked off early. They do. We'll start with Utah. Cam Rising's coming back. It seems like it's his 17th season there. Utah dealt with a ton of injuries last year. They're good. They should have running back Micah Bernard and wide receiver Micah Pittman on the field at the same time, as long as they don't get hurt 10 plays into the season. The defense needs some help on the back end. They lost 4 of the 5 players in the secondary. They do have Oklahoma State and Arizona State separated by a week there. So they go Oak State bye week, Arizona State. Okay, that's the hinge point of their season. Kansas State, in my opinion, is kind of the class of the conference here. When I look at them, they did lose their offensive coordinator, Colin Klein. He went to Texas A&M. they're going to have some pieces. Former 4-star player Avery Johnson comes over from the transfer portal. He's going to replace Will Howard, who's going to be the quarterback for Ohio State this year. DJ Diddins rushed for 1,200 yards last season, and he's joined by Dylan Edwards, who was absolutely mistreated and wronged by Deion Sanders and that shit show at Colorado. A misused player all the way around, still gained 600 yards from scrimmage, and they wouldn't give him the ball. He's going to go there. They're going to have a legit two-headed monster in the Big 12 with this young man. They got a tough games at Iowa State and a visit from Arizona. So that's going to be, I think they're kind of the class of the conference there. Now, there are some other things in this conference that are interesting to me. When I look at it, the rest of the conference, they all seem like a bunch of 7 and 8 win teams. All of them are kind of looking to unseat Kansas State and Utah. The teams that have a shot are Arizona, who was a good team last year. They lost their head coach, but everybody stayed. So they got essentially the same team there, but no one's giving them any credit. Kansas is that team that will have that feel-good story up until we start shopping for Halloween costumes for the kids. But they're going to be old. Their head coaches turn the corner and blah, blah, blah. The Mullet in Oklahoma State, same thing with them. And Iowa State, they claim to have just this program that's just tough. And, we had Brock Purdy and all of this and all of that. And it's like, all right, let's just slow down for a second. Okay. Slow down. So there you go. Those are the teams that will make the college football playoff. I'll give them to you again. From the group of 5, Liberty, Memphis, Boise State, and Tulane. From the ACC, Clemson, Florida State, and SMU. From the SEC, it's going to be some of the following: Georgia, Alabama, Mizzou, Texas, Ole Miss, LSU, and Tennessee. The Big Ten comes down to Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan. The Big 12, Kansas State, and Utah. I also think that Notre Dame is probably going to get a berth as well. We'll see how that goes. That's going to determine what's going to happen with a lot of the SEC nut huggers and the conference. Oh, our conference had blah, blah, blah in it. Look, Notre Dame's going to take one of those bids from you, and it's going to hurt feelings. Okay? Notre Dame consistently finishes in the top 15 every year. I'm not a Notre Dame fan, supporter, or whatever. I'm just telling you, when the season's over, they always finish in the top 15. So they're a legit program. Their head coach seems like he knows what he's doing. I mean, I was kind of worried about it. He's got like 50 kids, but I mean, I think he's legitimately got like 13 kids. But we know he knows how to do that, and apparently he knows how to coach at Notre Dame. So there you go with that. All right, so I'm going to give you guys the link if you want to respond to what I've been working with here. Have at it. The link is right there. Would love to chat with you guys as always. Been putting together some of the streams from the NCAA 2025 game. I did Tennessee last night playing Clemson, and I did Tennessee playing Colorado, and Colorado playing Clemson. Colorado lost both of them. So there is that. Follow along for more of those. Those are pretty interesting to watch. South Carolina 1-1 in the streaming games, by the way. They lost to Old Dominion, but they beat Tennessee. I got nothing. I do those streams live, by the way. So there you go. If there's a game you'd like us to simulate, would love to do that for you as well. But it's up to you. All right, we're going to put you the link here if you'd like to join. What do you think of my stuff that I put together here? If you would like to check that out, have at it. Also, I think I put it in here. Let's make sure. Hello, my son's over there today. If you would like to help Rob with his cost for the ACC kickoff, that would be great. I'm going to put the ticker down here. The links are in the show description. I laugh because they're charging $50 to park. What in the hell is going on in Charlotte that it's $50 to park? Whether you're there an hour or 8 hours, it's $50 to park. Hotel rooms are stupid expensive. It's just insane. So if you'd like to help out with that, as always, I would appreciate it. Let's welcome to the program Megan. Megan, what's up, brother?
Hey, is this the same Rob from a couple years ago? Same rundown?
Sam, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Man, the last time I talked to you on the rundown, you were telling us how Kirby would never win the big one.
That's right. And if you remember, I apologize for that. And see, when I think about it, though, that hurt your feelings because there was a little sentiment of truth in that because he hadn't won the big one. He hadn't really developed a quarterback that was going to be up to standards to win a national title. Who knew that you can go and get one of the dwarfs from The Hobbit and go out there and win two national titles? So I give credit to Kirby Smart. He's a hell of a coach. And I apologize for the things that I said. So there you go with that.
Well, speaking of hurting feelings, you clearly just went on a triggering spree. I mean, you peppered the entire country, Rob.
Well, if you're going to watch this show, then wait a minute. I triggered the entire country.
Well, I
What did
mean,
I
look,
say about your Georgia team that was hurtful, sir?
no, I
I,
said you
I said you
peppered.
were the
You peppered the entire, like you hit basically all four corners and everything in between. You have triggered the Deion Sanders cult, and that's what they are, is a cult.
well. That's exactly what they are,
Yeah.
and I'll stand by that until the end of time. And what's going to happen though is that people are going. The Edwards kid that I talked about earlier, that's at Kansas State now, he's going to be an All Big 12 selection, and
Yeah.
Deion Sanders is going to look like an asshole when his team wins 4 games this season if they're lucky.
Yeah. And then you went on to, talk about one of the Georgia players and some of the driving arrests. You kind of hinted at that about him staying sober and off the road.
He's got to,
Let's
man.
see. You also you nailed the Tennessee man about hoping it doesn't rain when they play Georgia. I mean, do I need to go on? I caught all of it. I know what you're doing. You went on a triggering spree, Rob. You know
Uh,
The Secret Service has been in the news quite a bit. I think you may want to borrow a few, not the ones that let the incident happen, but some good ones actually. You're going to need it. You keep triggering the Tennessee man, you're going to be in trouble, Rob.
well, the majority of them can't leave the state because of the parole officers. Like you can't leave the state. They got those whole ban things on them or whatever. So I'm not too worried about it. And I'm not going into the state of Tennessee, so I should be all right. Should be all right.
Now, in actual football news, and everyone whoever saw the rundown in the past knows how much I hate to agree with you, because
Yeah.
typically I kind of like to be right.
Yeah.
Um, but in this case, SMU, I would have to say they might be the most interesting team in the country based on that schedule.
I'm telling you, if Florida State overlooks them the least little bit, and look, let's just be honest. There's a culture of losing down there at Florida State. This isn't Bobby Bowden's Seminoles. This is the team that went out and said, "Oh, we went undefeated. We weren't selected for the playoffs, so we're going to act like a bitch." And that's what they did. And it ended up going in and playing Georgia. And Kirby Smart, I'll give him credit for this. You know what? I'm going to roll my guys out there. We're going to treat this game like we treat every other game. We're going to beat the holy shit out of you. And then FSU fans are, oh, that was a scrimmage game. No, it was not. That was a New Year's Six bowl game. And you had an opportunity to go out there and be like, look, we're going to show them they made a mistake. If they got a win over the Georgia Bulldogs, they could have literally, wrote their own narrative talking about we beat them with blah, blah, blah. Instead of that, they go out and they got smoked. Kirby could have scored 100 points that day if he wanted to. If he wanted to. Luckily, I think Mark Rick left him a prayer book there, and he may have read that before he went out there and decided to have a little bit of mercy because he could have scored 100 points that day if he wanted to.
I knew I wouldn't make it through one phone call without you mentioning your boyfriend, Mr. Rick, but we'll leave
Man
that
of
topic
God, sir.
alone.
He's not my boyfriend. He's a man of God.
You
You don't
clearly
like
have
Jesus,
have a
sir?
crush on him.
You don't like Jesus, sir? Is that what it is?
Moving
I'll pray.
on.
I'll pray for you on Wednesday.
I am one of the few Georgia and SEC fans who I don't beat up on FSU. I'm telling you, man, I am one of the few guys that was on their side on this thing. It's easy for you to say they could have gone out and proved a point, but the bottom line is they still would have gotten nothing for it. No trophies, no rings. And if you're an FSU fan, I mean, they should have given you some kind of disclaimer from the get go of the season, saying, "Hey, you can win all the games you want. We just want you to know none of them count." So, you may not want to go to such and such game because it doesn't actually count. Anyway, I don't want to rehash that because everybody's talked about it to death. But I'm just one of those Georgia fans who didn't. I didn't take much delight in beating the crap out of Florida State. I know I'm in the minority, but that game was a joke. I just don't. It's kind of bullying them, and
Well, but
when
let me ask you this: do you think Kirby Smart is a joke?
no, obviously not.
Okay. Well, Kirby Smart looked at that game like it wasn't a fucking joke.
I know, I
He
know.
didn't take it that way. So either you can run with what Kirby Smart has got you, or you could sit back and be like the game was a joke. Because Kirby Smart set his players up with the mentality of no game is a joke here. Our job is to go out and fucking destroy everyone.
All I know is I have
And
not
he
seen a
did that.
team. I've not seen a team robbed worse since what was it, that 2004 Auburn team when they had beaten more top 10 teams than the two teams that actually played for it combined. Wasn't that '04, Rob?
That is an issue. Yeah, I think that was '04, but that is an issue of the system. And not to rehash all of it, but who would you have kicked out? Who would you have taken out of that top four to to put Florida State in?
Alabama.
Hmm, okay.
I mean,
I mean that's
they're FSU was a conference undefeated conference champion. I know Alabama was good and probably would have smoked FSU. I'm not saying that anybody wouldn't, but either the games count or they don't. You know.
yeah. I can't really argue that statement with you. I'm just telling you the situation they were put in. They didn't do anything to make their program look good. And their fan base now is still running their mouths about it was a scrimmage game. Get the hell
I
out of here.
agree. I agree, but it's also easy when it's not your team to sit back and laugh at them and kind of discount some of the
I'm not
facts.
laughing at them. I'm laughing at the the culture of the program. And we use Georgia as an example because the culture of their program, what did Georgia have to benefit from that game? Think about it. Georgia could have ran their third stringers out there and probably won 35-0.
I agree,
They didn't
but
want to do that. The culture at Georgia is a culture of winning. The culture at Florida State is let's bring in toxic recruits like the young man that played at South Carolina and his mom was on Twitter losing her shit. Let's bring in people like that just so we can hopefully get to a point where we can win some games. It's a culture of losing down there, and I don't feel sorry for them. I really don't.
again, triggering spree. Good on you, Rob. Just stay safe out there, man.
I'm not worried about it. I appreciate it though.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Rob.
All right, thank you, Peg and Megan, joining the program. The stupid committee screwed up by elevating FSU to fourth prior to the quarterback getting injured and didn't drop them after the fact. See, I agree with what Harry's saying there, but the reality is that these college football playoff rankings, the ranking shows, are nothing but fucking TV draws. That's just the way that it is. Remember, you guys remember who was the first number one ranked team in the college football playoff committee when they released it the very first time? It was Mississippi State. Mississippi State ended up losing to Georgia Tech that year in a bowl game. So there you go. Sir Uga says if it makes you feel any better, Josh Pate has Miami and FSU in the ACC championship and FSU winning. Uh, I'm not buying that. If I were going to bet, I would bet more on Clemson SMU in the ACC championship game over Miami doing anything because Mario Cristobal, I mean, unproven. The stuff that happened with him last year, my goodness, it's a mess. It's a mess. So yeah, Michigan State made the playoffs. I'm talking about the first set of rankings on ESPN. It was Mississippi State, and then they fell off later on. That's what I'm getting at there. Mr. Rob has an SEC bias. So there's that. Put the link out there one more time. I think Miami is a dumpster fire. I really do. With the talent that they've had and they haven't done better than what they are. Yeah. By the way, I sent my notes off about the stuff that I gave you guys, and someone's like, "Man, you didn't add Louisville?" No, no, I'm just not buying Louisville. One of my friends asked me about Purdue. No, no. Wisconsin. No, no. I don't know. It's funny how that works out there. All right, Mr. Rob has an SEC bias. What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
I'm good. What's up?
I don't have a whole lot to say, so I'll just keep it short. I'm just wanting
Sure.
to had to call in at the inaugural
The
reinstatement.
the re-rack of the rundown's what I'm calling
Yeah.
it. So
Now the only thing we're missing now is you got to get yourself a bookshelf.
I have one sitting next to me, but
Okay.
we have
I
the
expect the
virtual.
bookcase of accountability to be brought back.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I'll show you this really quick. I've got it right here. The bookcase of accountability is on robandkaleshow.com. As you can see,
Hmm.
it's when
I did
someone
not.
says something stupid, it's already right there for you. Like Arkansas man last night says, Mizzou isn't good. They just have a decent defense. That's about it. Big Barney Ross saying Billy Cole's the mayor of Grinder. And he also says Steve Sarkeesian eats his Snickers candy bars upside down so he can feel the veins. So it's there. Bookcase of accountability is I made it where everybody could have it, sir.
Yeah,
It's
I had
right.
no clue that was there. That's hilarious.
Yep. Well, and here's the thing. We are going to keep the bookcase of accountability up throughout the year, and you can go and check it out. Now, at the end of the year, you'll be able to determine, hey, if you want to, who was smart and who wasn't. We'll find out as the season goes on there.
You got
Bookcase
to have a
account.
year-end review.
Oh,
Review.
we're gonna have it, and it's gonna. I can already tell you when it's gonna be. It's gonna be the Sunday night after conference championship Saturday, and
Okay.
we'll look at things like Vandy Dandy saying, what is it? He says here, South Carolina runs out of time against Vanderbilt this year. The streak is over.
That's a
Uh,
pitbull.
This Carolina Jackoff is coping with Tennessee beating South Carolina Junior in every sport. So basically, he said South Carolina is going to lose every sport to Tennessee this year. Okay. Randall saying LSU will win the SEC this year. Papa B saying Ole Miss does not make the playoffs. Little things like that. That's what's on the bookcase of accountability, and we will keep updating it as we roll along through the season. So I bring the bookcase of accountability to you. Also, I forgot to mention this too. We'll go ahead and show you this while we're here as well. Getting closer and closer to 100,000 views is Big Barney Ross's bourbon review. When we first started doing this, I was like, this will be fun. But last night, I got another bourbon review from Big Barney Ross. It's bourbon is Weller's CYPB, which stands for Craft Your Perfect Bourbon. Go and learn about that. All kinds of bourbon news from Big Barney Ross. If you're a person that likes the bourbon, there you go. So
Yeah, and I can attest his bourbon reviews are some of the best content you'll find on the internet. They're fucking
absolutely.
hilarious.
Well, they're hilarious, but also when you go out, right? And let's say that you're not the bourbon extraordinaire. You look like your dick is 8 foot long. If you walk somewhere in like a really good restaurant and you already know, I know that bourbon over there is really good. I'm going to order that. There you go. Things like that.
It's safe to trust his palate. That's for damn sure.
Well,
Safe
he
to
knows
trust.
all about that shit.
But
He's
I
all about
also wanted to mention. I don't know if I came in a little late. Did you talk about Lex Cyrus yet?
not yet.
What a pickup, man! I'm telling you, that wide receiver room is going to be something special in about a year or two. And I think we just got crystal balled for another 4-star.
Well, here's the thing with Shane Beamer's also had the thing where the talent. He's gotten talent in from the transfer portal, and he's been able to hit some home runs with it. I wonder if losing Coach Stepp is going to hurt the program. We shall see. I guess I'm a mark. I'm a mark for Coach Stepp. I think that him leaving, I think, is going to hurt the Gamecock coaching staff. I mean, I really believe that, but we shall see.
I'd feel more that way. The thing is with that is it's not like he just got offered a job somewhere and he left the program. He kind of got pushed out. So I don't think he was really – I mean, Jackpot had a really good video about it. I mean, it wasn't really – he just wasn't a priority to keep on the staff, it seemed. I mean, they moved him to tight end.
Well, but I think that, in my opinion, they undervalued how good of a coach Justin Stepp is.
Well, the thing that pissed me off with Stepp is he could never have a year where we had two options. It was always one guy and then a bunch of 200-yard receivers the rest of the year. And you can't win like that. You got to have at least you got to have your second guy coming in at least 500-600.
Well, but here's the thing. I think a lot of wide receiver rooms are built kind of awkward. And what I mean by that is that when you look at Clemson's I use Clemson as an example here. Clemson had they had in their championship seasons, they had a great slot receiver in Hunter Renfrow. They also had big, tall dudes that could run down the field and get jump balls. Mike Williams, T. Higgins, guys like that. So you have some wide receiver rooms that have a bunch of slot receivers, and none of them are really good. Okay? Or you'll have a ton of just big, huge guys that will just run down the field and try to catch balls. And it's like you don't have the perfect mix of the two.
And it seems like they're just looking at kind of how the depth chart's laid out. It seems like they're wanting to go smaller at wide receiver. A lot of the guys we're bringing in are around 6 foot, 5'11", 6'1".
Like it would be. I remember Ace Sanders for South Carolina. Having a guy like that is like, there aren't very many of those anymore. If you have one guy that can stretch it and the other guy that's not afraid to go across the middle, catch that 5-yard slant, knowing he's going to get hit by a linebacker, that's what makes you really good, in my opinion. It makes your quarterback's life a lot easier. So, but I think the combo back is kind of hurting that too, because and you'll see that with Clemson this year too. I think they're going to try to get Maffa the ball a lot more. Look for him to drift, 2 to 3 yards off the line of scrimmage and be sort of a relief valve, sort of like they did with Travis Etienne, the better of the Etiennes, by the way. And he'll catch the ball there and be just that relief valve for Klubnik down the road. So,
well, I am excited about this year. I came in with real low expectations, but as the season gets close, you start to build up hope. It's inevitable, man. I'm starting to get the.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this is every fan base. I do the show with Tim Frisbee and Justin Hall for WVOC, and we talk about it. It's like Gamecock fans in April are like, man, we're going to win 5 games. And then by the time they get through with their July 4th cookout, they're like, you know what, assholes, we're going to win 8 games. We may win 9 games. And that's, I'm not into that camp. South Carolina has – I'm going to put my prediction video out on it, but I see maybe 5 wins.
The thing is, our O-line can't be as bad as it was last year. It's just not possible.
Well, that's a low bar, sir.
Yeah, it's just not possible. They've got – and I think any improvement in the O-line is going to immensely help out. I mean, we couldn't run our offense at all. Because the second they snap the ball, you got somebody fucking running into the backfield.
Go back and watch, and I know it's painful, but
the North Carolina was the worst one.
Well, North Carolina was bad, but look at the Clemson game. I mean, they almost killed Spencer Rattler.
Yeah. And you can't run an offense. There's literally no plays you can call if the second the ball snapped, you got a motherfucker already by your own line. You can't run anything. It's just
Can't run
bullshit, like like there's nothing you can do. So I think any improvement there is,
Oh,
going to really help out our offense.
one other note on South Carolina, the preseason teams, Rocket Sanders is like second team all conference. Did you notice that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I heard
got it
Jetpot
right
talk about it. The thing is,
yeah, so Rocket Sanders is your your second team all SEC running back, according to the media folks. They're expecting a lot out of him.
Yeah.
Did you watch South Carolina last year? Is the offensive line going to be that improved? Or is this guy, he took a year off and he was playing at Arkansas, where it's not like they had a monumentally great offensive line. None of those guys are playing in the pros right now, if I remember correctly. But they think highly of Rocket Sanders. And I think that the hinge point for South Carolina on this season is, can they get a two-headed monster attack going on that front? I like the kid from South Carolina State, because he's going to come in there and he wants to be a Gamecock. He's not going to, if he gets nicked up, he's still going to play his ass off. If they can get a 1-2 punch out of them and the offensive line can just somewhat fucking block, you've got some big guys out there.
I'd be fine. I would be honestly fine with if we just gave up like 1.5 sacks a game, 2 sacks a game. That's an improvement.
Well, if you give up 1.5 sacks a game, that means your quarterback's probably getting hit 7 or 8 times.
Well, what did we give up last year? It must have been at least 3. It must have been 3 per game last year at least. Fucking Kentucky, that big motherfucker from Kentucky had like 4 by himself.
He did that every what is his name? Where's Big Barney Ross? What's that? Who's that big son?
That big boy, man.
He's a first team player. Hold on, I've got him right here.
I'm surprised Rocket Sanders got it over that Jaquez Hunter out.
Deion Walker, yes.
That dude
Deion Walker at Kentucky, yes, sir. By the way, Kentucky's got 2 players on the All SEC first team for defense, in Walker and Maxwell Hairston. That's pretty cool with them being there. And then you've got, that pisses me off because Andrew Makumba, who was starting last year for Clemson, is second team All SEC for Texas. Fuck Texas.
Yeah.
Hemingway is a third team player.
The most important one is the long snapper. That's the only position you need to look at.
Oh, Jesus.
A long snapper.
Oh, my God.
But
do you have anything else
in regards to the Rocket Sanders making it? It is kind of a down year in the SEC for running backs because, you got ETN coming in, but you got Judkins leaving. You got that Schrader leaving. There's a lot of unproven running backs, I'd say, in the SEC right now. So when you look at, body of work, I'd say Rocket probably deserves it, but who knows?
Well, we shall see. All right, brother. As always, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Let me leave you with this. Horns down. UT. I'm so glad to have you in the conference, UT, but you're getting the horns down all season long. Oklahoma, welcome to the conference. We're going to beat y'all's fucking ass. Don't they come to Williams-Brice? I think they come to Williams-Brice.
I don't think they come to Williams-Brice. I think you go there. I don't remember. I have to look at
I might change my prediction for that game then. But listen, Cox on top. We're going bowling this year. You'll see us in Birmingham, hopefully. Till then, Spurs up to my toes up. Woo!
All right. There you go. Let's welcome Octavian into the program. Octavian, how are you, sir?
That was some delusional ass shit, man. That was some delusional ass shit.
What was delusional, sir?
That South Carolina fan, they think they're going to a bowl game. They're not going to a bowl game, man.
Tell us about the Florida Bowl game last year. How was that?
Oh no, we going to the playoffs this year, man. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. We're going
we're going
to be the team.
Here, let me help you. The bowl game last year was beating Tennessee. That was your bowl game last year, sir.
It's all right, sir.
How was softball this year? How'd that work out for you?
Softball was very good. Baseball was also very good.
Yeah.
Football's gonna be even better when we make the playoffs. Beat Georgia for the first time in 5 years.
Christopher
Yeah,
says South Carolina's going 8-4. Florida's going 2-10.
South Carolina's going 1-10, son. They're gonna be worse than Phil Petty.
Zona Tucson says, how about that ass kicking from Utah last year? How'd that work out for you?
Fuck Utah.
Why are we mocking Utah, sir?
Fuck Utah.
What did
Utah
Utah
soft
do?
as shit.
I've got audio from the Utah fans after the game.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Anything else you got there or what?
And listen, y'all South Carolina fans are delusional as hell. Y'all going either one or two,
Sir,
one
I'm
or
not,
11.
sir, I'm not a South Carolina fan.
We
You
know,
telling
you
me
know, you
all
know
South
something.
Carolina fans, you're putting me in with them. I'm not. All
Yeah,
right. I
yeah.
cover
You're a good
the
Clemson
team.
fan. Clemson's pretty good.
I cover the team though. I go to practice. I know what's going on down there.
Yeah, they're sorry as hell. You know, you should know. You should be no. They number one hater. They sorry as hell. They soft as cotton. They look like a Pac-12 team. They think they good. They're not good at all. They're not. And the Sellers dude is gonna get broken up by the third
Why
game.
do you care? You don't even play South Carolina this year, man.
No,
Why do
because
you care?
I just have to come on this show because these South Carolina fans are a bunch of idiots.
Sir, if you want to go on a show and just say, Florida's going to go to the college football playoff this year, there has to be a talking squall show for the Florida Gators. I don't know what is it called? Leather and Lace with Urban Meyer, his pocket. Go over there and talk to them.
Listen, sir, these South Carolina fans, they're going 8-4. In our reality, they're going 2-10 or 1-11. Gonna be worse than Lou Petty.
Look,
Going,
you guys can all
they're
sit home
starting.
Christmas together because I don't think Florida's going any better than 5 or 6
South
and 6.
Carolina's best coach was Lou Holtz, sir.
You
Their
think
best
you think
their
whoa,
best days
slow
are
down.
far behind
Hold
them.
on, hold on. You think that Lou Holtz was better at South Carolina than Steve Spurrier? Please don't say those dumb things, sir.
Listen, listen. Lou Holtz was
You're
the
not
best coach
you're not
South
helping.
Carolina ever had, sir.
Spurrier was a much better coach than Holtz, but okay.
But we're not gonna talk about South Carolina. We're not gonna talk about how they're just gonna look for a new coach by the end of by week 4. Week 4 they're gonna be 0-4, looking for a new coach. They're gonna get upset by Old Dominion the first game. I bet money on that. I
You're
would love
betting
to see that.
money. You're betting money. Are you taking bets on that? What do you got? I'll bet you $25 South Carolina wins that game outright. You want to bet me with that? You gonna take Old Dominion?
Old Dominion is gonna beat South Carolina.
Are
Georgia's
you
gonna beat
going
South.
to take Old Dominion, sir? Do you want to
Yes.
bet? Okay,
Oh,
so I'll bet you $25.
I'd love to take the Old Dominion.
Everybody
What do y'all
here, there
think?
you go. You heard it right. $25. It's a nice gentleman's bet there. And yep, there you go. You bet me that they're
When
gonna
I
fail.
be right the first week of the season when Old Dominion
Look,
runs on the
if,
field and
if
beats
you're
South
right, I'll
Carolina for
send
the
you
first
your
time.
money, sir. But making comments like, "Hey, they're going to lose to Old Dominion," makes it sound like your family tree doesn't fork, sir.
Sir,
That's what comments like that say to
South
me.
Carolina
You're
has
just
nobody
saying
on their
something
team.
because you
Who the
don't.
hell?
South Carolina
Who the
hurts
hell?
your feelings.
Who the hell? South Carolina has on their team that actually think they can compete in South Carolina in the SEC. Who the hell? Who the hell they got? They got that quarterback number 16. He gonna get he gonna get hurt by week 3. They ain't gonna have nobody else. They don't have no
Well, I
running
mean,
game.
they have, according to the folks that are on the SEC media, they've
Oh
got
goodness.
Rocket Sanders as the second team all
Who
conference
the,
running.
oh goodness. Wow. Rocket Sanders. Wow. Rocket Sanders. Wow. Oh man. South Carolina's going
Look,
two
you,
and
you
ten,
guys had a great running back, and your dumbass coach couldn't keep him there. You
sir.
couldn't keep. You had a guy in
Sir.
there, and he's
We're
like,
not
he
going to
had
do
all
that,
this
sir.
stuff there,
Sir,
and you
we're
couldn't
not
keep
going to
him
do that,
there.
sir.
And
Fuck
Kirby Smart, like,
ETN.
yeah, your program has gone to shit so bad. Kirby Smart's like, oh, that guy played well for a couple of games. We'd like to have him here, and he goes and gets him. You're
Yeah,
losing players within what used to be your own division.
yeah. And
Missouri's a better
sir,
program than you are right now.
sir, Sir,
Missouri's a better program than you may be the
what,
fourth best program.
are you serious? Are you
I'm dead
serious?
serious. I'm
Are you
not joking.
serious? Did that just come out your mouth? Did you just say Missouri better
Yes,
than Florida?
Missouri right now is a better program than Florida.
Man, man, look in the mirror. Man, look at that reflection in that of your picture back
Brother,
there. Man,
this
are
is
you
not
serious?
Tim Tebow's not running around talking about he's not banging broads and stuff anymore. This is for real. Right now, you may be the fourth best program in the state.
Are you?
Sorry
I
if that hurt.
know you didn't just say this, man. I literally just.
I did. I said it again. Also, Mizzou's better than you are.
Are you
I said
fucking
that. Yep.
talking?
I'd rather have Drinkowitz than your coach.
Do the people in
Only
South
I can have
Carolina?
one
Do
of
the
those two
people in South
coaches.
Carolina use their
I would
brains?
take Drinkowitz
Do the
all
people
day,
in
every
South
day.
Carolina really use their brains? Do they really use their brains? The people they can't be because
Brother,
there's no way in hell that you can sit up here and say
Peg and Megan made it simple for you here. Florida's coming off 3 losing seasons. Three straight losing seasons.
there's no way in hell.
You had
There's
a
no way.
bowl game with Central Florida. You lost the game and the fight afterwards. You couldn't even win the damn fight after the
Sir,
game.
sir,
What? What?
are you serious? Did you just say
Yes.
you could
Missouri's
listen?
better than you are.
Mississippi State is better than goddamn South Carolina. Let's say that.
I said, well, that's fine. If you want to have that opinion, sir, everybody can have them.
Even though everybody knows Mississippi State, everybody
I'm
knows
basing
Mississippi
mine
State
with
going
facts.
0-12.
Eli Drinkowitz is out there winning games
Yeah,
with less talent,
when they be three
and they won
and
what,
four,
10
they be
games
gonna
last year.
fire them.
So there you
They're
go.
gonna be 3-4 in the middle of the season. Everybody gonna want to fire them because the season ain't going too well.
Look, but hey,
We seen that
you
vote. We
know
seen that
the
vote
best
before.
part is that at least Missouri's fans actually give a shit. Okay, if he goes out this season and goes 4-8, they'll want his ass fired, and he probably
Before
will get fired. It may happen that way. You know why? Because they want to win there. At Florida, it's
no,
like
they just now started winning, sir. They just now
you're
started winning.
you're
They're
no,
not
sir,
used to
that's
winning,
not
sir.
true.
Sir,
That is
they just now
absolutely not
started
true.
winning, sir. That
Sir,
is true. That is
you don't know what
sir.
you're talking about.
You're not gonna tell me. You're not gonna
They
sit up here and
joined the
tell me.
conference. Since they joined the conference, they have more division titles than Tennessee does. They were in the conference after the first year. They won 2 straight SEC East titles. They made a mockery of you people talking about, oh, no one can win in the SEC. They went in, had a losing season the first year, and won 2 straight division titles. They wiped their ass with that.
Yeah,
So
did.
they absolutely did. Now,
Let's get on
reality
Kentucky.
here, where we are right now, they're better than you are.
Let's get on Kentucky. We're better than Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri,
Okay, so
and South Carolina,
you're
sir.
better than Kentucky.
We're ahead of
Cool.
all them, sir.
That's the beacon of the
Florida is
program.
ahead of South
That's
Carolina,
the beacon of the
Kentucky,
program right now.
Tennessee.
We're better than Kentucky and Vanderbilt.
We're better than Kentucky, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Missouri, Vanderbilt. For damn sure, Vanderbilt. I don't even know why we even having a conversation about it. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be real. We're better than all four or five of those teams. The only team that we really truly worry about in this division conference is Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and I want to say the Ole Miss. I want to say we're a little bit better than Ole Miss too because Ole Miss is soft to me. I really don't know why y'all so high on Ole Miss. They're really soft to me. That's the soft.
I don't know.
They have the
Their
cotton
coach
candy
has
blue
a
uniform.
set of balls. Maybe that. Maybe their coaches turned them into like the SEC's version of Transfer U. Maybe they played in a bowl game last year against Penn State and beat the shit out of them. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have 3 losing seasons in a row. Maybe that.
When South Carolina's going to the playoffs, never.
That's fine. They may never go to the playoffs. That's fine.
South Carolina is sorry to me. Tennessee is soft.
Let me put
Let's
this
get
out
those.
there.
Let's get
Hold
those.
on, hold on. No, be quiet for a second. Jack Dugan over there wants my attention. Says this show can't stand my smoke. If I called in, He misspelled guaranteed. He said it would be like Trump and Biden at the debate. Sir, the link is there. If you have balls, call the program. If not, shut your mouth. You're a eunuch. There you go. Anyway,
Let's
what else, Octavian?
talk about Tennessee.
Why do you want to talk about Tennessee?
Cause you
I mean, you
that's
did
my
beat
favorite
them
punching
last
bag.
year. You beat them
You know
last year. That was your bowl game.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
That's my favorite punching bag. I like to beat up on the people from Knoxville so bad. I love it.
Of
I
course
really
you
do.
do.
I love to see all those people disappointed. I love it. I really do. It hurts my heart to say that Tennessee might win 7 games. They might go 7-5. Nico, I'm gonna leave you. Or whatever how you said, the toothpick, as I like to call him, the toothpick will not be the SEC Player of the Year. He will not be even mentioned for the Heisman. He's they think they got a good quarterback. I can't wait to put the brain of pain to him when we go to the Neyland Stadium and absolutely bury him in front of Peyton Manning and 107,000 people. When we bury him.
You're not playing them this year, sir.
We're playing Tennessee, sir. We're playing Tennessee, sir.
Look at my schedule and stuff here, but are they
We're
even
playing
on?
Tennessee. We're most definitely playing Tennessee. That's one of our most hated rivals. We're definitely
Cool.
playing those.
Jay says, I'm in a dead area cutting trees. I think I saw Octavian's parents run out of a hollow in a tree. Okay. Are your parents in a hollow, sir?
Oh, so I just cannot believe that you sat on this show and really said that Missouri, South
Oh,
Carolina,
you do
Kentucky.
play at Tennessee. My bad, Tennessee fans. They do play there. They're not playing you in your place, so you'll probably
We,
go up
we,
there.
we go up there and rent them out the stadium by the second quarter, or
Let's
third
see here.
quarter.
Here. I'll do the wins loss on your schedule just right off the bat. Miami's a loss. Sanford's a win. Texas A&M is a loss. At Mississippi State is probably a win. UCF is a win. Tennessee's a loss. Kentucky's a loss. Georgia's a loss. Texas is a loss. LSU's a loss. Ole Miss is a loss, and Florida State's a loss. You got 4 wins. Four
Are you
wins, sir.
serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Are you just? Did you just say? Did we
As
go
of
about
right
4 wins?
now, I got you at 4. Maybe you'll get 5 if you can beat Kentucky. So we'll give you 5.
Get the hell out. Man, we're gonna beat Kentucky, Tennessee. Who else on that damn schedule, man? We gonna we damn
I
sure
just
beat
told you who it
LSU.
was.
We damn
You're
sure
gonna
beat
get
we
Miami,
damn
Miami,
beat Miami.
Sanford,
After
Texas A&M,
we beat
Mississippi
Miami off the rip.
State,
We beat
UCF,
Sanford.
Tennessee.
We beat Texas A&M. We'll beat Tennessee. We'll beat Kentucky. I think we'll be 5-0 at the end of October, sir.
Oh, good for you.
We beat
You think
Central Florida.
you're gonna be 5-0 heading into October?
5-0. We're gonna be in the top 10, and we're gonna upset Georgia November the 2nd.
You're not beating Georgia.
We're going to beat Georgia, sir. We are tired. When people are tired of just getting beat, we finally just gonna take the belt away from them and just whoop them. They took one of our best players. They using it and rubbing it in our face. They have won the last two out of three championships. They are the target, sir. They are the target, and sir, before you say something,
You're beginning to bore me.
we own the Georgia Bulldogs, sir. We own them.
Okay.
They have been skating away for the last 3 weeks. The last 3 years, they have been
3
skating.
weeks. What are you
Three
talking about, man?
the
3
last
weeks?
3 years. The last 3 years, they have been skating away for the last 3 years. They have been lucky. That's why I call them the Georgia Lucky Dogs. I can't stand them. I can't stand them. I can't stand them. And
Well,
the
I mean,
day November
there's
2nd,
lots of teams that I
I can't
can't stand,
stand them.
but I'm not gonna sit here and say that my team's gonna beat them because
That
you know
we are. And
feelings.
I stand. We're gonna stand on business that day, sir. We're gonna stand on business. Gators
All
gonna
right,
stand on business.
cool. Anything else, sir, that you
Is
wanna
Billy
throw
is
out there?
any Tennessee fan, Billy Cole, somebody who? I know it's a South
Billy's
Carolina fan.
Billy's
I
up
know it's
here.
South
You know
Carolina.
where Billy is.
I
Um,
know it's a. I
by
know
the
it's a
way,
South Carolina. I
hold
know it's a
on,
South
hold
Carolina.
on, dude. The way this works is a conversation. You don't just spew, Florida's great. I'm going to jerk off to the end of time. Florida, 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 Florida. It has to be where we actually can converse. Okay. Don't make me have to sit there and mute the microphone so I can make a point and then I can serve it back to you. And then I'll shut up so that you can talk. All right. Look, Florida has, Georgia has an 11 game lead in the series. So you do not own the Georgia Bulldogs. They have an 11. They've won 11 straight. They have 11 game lead in the series on that front. You have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see here. You've lost 6 out of the last 7 to them. All right. You've lost 6 out of the last 7 to them. So they don't. You don't really own them in anything, unless we're talking about softball. The last time I told you,
Oh.
off the program we can talk about softball. I'll look up the softball.
Georgia is not in the position to win the championship this year, man. They're not.
You
Let's be
told me
real.
the same shit fucking 2 years ago, man. When
They're
after
not
they won their first
in
national title,
this.
they're not going to win another
They're
one.
not
It'll be
going
another
to win
40
the
years.
championship. They're not. I'm just
I
gonna break it.
actually have that clip somewhere,
I just like to
Octavian.
break it. I just
You
want to break
said
it to you.
it's going to be like 1981 again. We don't argue with hardware on the program, sir.
Sir, they're not good to me. They're not, listen. They're not good at all. Their best player is Etienne. Who the hell
Okay.
are you gonna throw the ball to? Who the
I
hell is the wide receivers they have over there? The only
mean,
person I know on their
Carson
team,
Beck's like one of the favorites for the
the
Heisman. I mean,
only,
he sucks.
the only people I know on Georgia's football team is Beck and Etienne. Who the hell he throwing to? Who the hell they don't have
Um,
that tight end. They don't have the tight end no more.
Oscar Delp is a hell of
save
a
them no
tight
more.
end, sir, but all right,
That tight
whatever.
end can't save them no more. So they gotta find somebody that can save
Delp's
them.
probably better than just about everybody on your roster, but okay,
Oh Jesus.
whatever.
Well,
He lost 20 and 1
listen.
today.
So we had the best quarterback in the SEC. We had the best running
Who?
back in the SEC.
Who?
We had the best tight end in the SEC.
Who?
And we're gonna
Who are these people?
and when everybody's
Who is
realized
it?
we're gonna have the
Tell
best.
me who is great, sir. Tell me who the greatest quarterback is and the running and all these. Who are they?
The best run right now. We have the best run. We have the best quarterback room, running back room,
What is his
tight end
name,
room.
sir?
And soon to
What's
find
his
out,
name?
everybody gonna find out. We're
What's
gonna have
his
the best
name?
wide receiver room in the SEC.
You don't know your roster, do you? You
We
have
do
no
know.
clue who your fucking
I
quarterback
do know
is,
my
do you?
roster, sir.
No, you don't.
Listen, we have our
No,
roster, sir. Graham Mertz
you don't.
is going to win the Heisman, sir.
Oh,
Graham
okay.
Mertz, Graham Mertz,
Look,
Montrell
look. Let
Johnson,
me help
for
you because you
Heisman.
don't know much about your roster. Lagway's probably going to win the job in week 3, and then you'll be calling up talking about how he should be after you start that stretch there where you might go 2-4 to start the season. He may start in week 3 and finally get his legs under him a little bit and start to look halfway decent, and then you're going to be calling the program talking about he should be in the Heisman race. That's the way it should be. He should be in the Heisman race. I'm
Sir,
helping
sir,
because I'm giving
sir,
you things that where you when you call into these programs, it'll make you sound a little bit better. Okay?
sir. When we be 6-7-0 after we beat Georgia,
You're not beating Georgia.
when we beat Georgia this year in Jacksonville, we gonna put. I'm just telling you, even before we play Georgia, we already gonna be putting people on notice. Even after the first game, we just gonna put people on notice, sir.
On notice
Listen,
that buy
when I say we're gonna
on
end up,
notice that
we're
you
gonna
can
have
buy
the
Billy
best.
Napier's house and get it at a discount because he's going to be the offensive coordinator at Texas Tech next year.
No, listen here, sir. We're going to be the first team that didn't make a bowl game to make the college football playoffs to win it. The first undisputed national champions, 17-0, brother. Go
Ooh.
Gators! Fuck South Carolina! Fuck Tennessee! Fuck Georgia! And for damn sure, fuck Kentucky.
There you go. I got nothing. I mean, here we'll give him that. By the way, people I'm going to my DMs. If you don't know what that is, just don't. Just don't. I mean, some of you will get it, some of you won't. You're not calling anyone. You have to actually, here, let me put the link over there for the, this is going to be fun. I can already tell. I've never heard Jack ever, but I can already tell this is going to be fun. Here's the link, Jack. You click the link that is right there in front of you that I just posted in the chat. He's not shown up yet. There you go. So there you go. Oh, you will. Okay, there's the link. I know all of my stuff, man. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Get Google Yo. Okay. All right. Well, it's been a very fun edition of the Rundown this afternoon. I appreciate you guys as always. If you could support the program a little bit, help out with my trip to Charlotte. There you go. Links are in the description. Also, if you guys could help out, that would be great. That would be awesome. And no computer in front of me. I'm not. I don't have time to educate people today. Here he is leaving and ending the show, brother. I've done an hour and 17 minutes. 17 minutes of them with freaking Octavian. I can't wait around for you to call all the time, brother. I'll be back here tomorrow. All right. Drop your nuts, and then you can call then. All right. But I assure you, it's not going to work out well for you. It's not going to work out well for you. All right. Appreciate you guys. If you can help out the program, that's great. There's the links. We'll see you guys later on.